Admiral George Harris stood on the observation deck of the orbital station, Sentinel-1, gazing at the strange vessel that had appeared at the edge of Earth's solar system. The ship was massive, nearly the size of Earth's moon, and constructed of a material that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. "What are we looking at, Doctor?" Harris asked, turning to Dr. Linda Powell, the lead xenolinguist who'd been summoned the moment the alien craft had been detected. "Their transmission patterns suggest an advanced civilization, Admiral," she replied, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "Based on our initial decryption, they call themselves the Dominion. Their language contains hierarchical markers consistent with imperial governance structures. The holographic display between them showed the alien vessel's trajectory, a direct course to Earth. They're scanning everything," said Commander Kevin Mitchell from his station. "Our satellites, defense systems, population centers. They're mapping us, sir." Harris nodded grimly. "And what about their capabilities?" The science officer, Susan Bennett, stepped forward. "Their technology appears to be centuries beyond ours, energy readings that defy our understanding of physics. But there's something else." She hesitated. "Something about their scan patterns suggests they're surprised by what they're finding." "Surprised? About what?" Harris asked. "Us, sir. Humanity." Harris walked to the window and stared at the distant stars. Earth had been preparing for this moment for decades, ever since the first signals were detected 30 years ago. But preparation and readiness were two very different things. "Get me the president," Harris ordered, "and activate the Omega Protocol." Mitchell's face paled. "Sir, the Omega Protocol is only meant for—" "I know exactly what it's meant for, Commander," Harris interrupted. "And I hope to God we won't need it. But if that ship is what I think it is, we need every advantage we can get." The communication officer, Frank Perez, swallowed hard. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the vessel. They're broadcasting on all frequencies." "Put it through," Harris ordered. The main screen flickered, and an image appeared, humanoid but distinctly alien. The being had pale blue skin that seemed to shimmer with an inner light. Its eyes were large and entirely black, with no visible pupils. "People of Earth," the alien spoke in perfect English, though its mouth movements didn't match the words. "I am Emissary Varric of the Galactic Dominion. Your world has been noticed. We come to evaluate." Harris stepped forward. "This is Admiral George Harris of Earth Space Command. We welcome peaceful contact with your civilization." The alien's expression didn't change. "Peace is a function of value, Admiral Harris. Your planet's value is yet to be determined." The transmission ended abruptly. Dr. Powell looked at her readings. "They're sending smaller vessels toward Earth, 5 of them, spreading to different continents." Harris pressed the emergency communication button. "Madam President, we have first contact with an alien civilization calling themselves the Dominion. Based on their technology and communication, they appear to be an empire with conquest in mind. Recommend immediate global military alert and activation of the Phoenix Initiative." He turned to his crew, their faces showing a mixture of fear and determination. "Ladies and gentlemen, humanity is about to face its greatest challenge. Whatever happens next will define our species for generations to come." Outside, the stars continued to shine, oblivious to the drama unfolding beneath them, as humanity's first encounter with an advanced alien civilization began, not with peace, but with the looming shadow of a galactic empire turning its gaze upon Earth. 3 days later, the first formal communication arrived. The message was simple and direct, broadcast on all frequencies in perfect English. "People of Earth, we are the Dominion, sovereign rulers of 17,000 star systems. Your world has been cataloged for assessment and potential integration. Prepare to receive our emissaries." Within hours, 5 smaller vessels detached from the mothership and entered Earth's atmosphere, landing in strategic locations across the planet. The primary delegation requested, or rather, commanded, A meeting with Earth's leaders at the United Nations headquarters. President Alan Douglas watched from behind bulletproof glass as the aliens emerged from their craft. They were humanoid in shape but taller, with skin that seemed to shimmer with an iridescent quality. Their movements were fluid and precise, almost mechanical. "They look almost human," whispered Vice President Diane Foster. "That's what worries me," Douglas replied. The lead alien, who introduced himself as High Commander Varric, addressed the hastily assembled Global Security Council with cold efficiency. "Your species has reached a sufficient technological threshold to warrant notice. Your planet possesses resources valuable to the Dominion. Standard protocol dictates evaluation for 3 potential outcomes: servitude, limited autonomy, or eradication." The room went silent. "You will be given 60 Earth days to demonstrate your value. We have encountered many civilizations at your development stage. Few have impressed us." President Douglas stood, his face a mask of diplomatic calm despite the threat that hung in the air. "High Commander Varric, Earth welcomes the opportunity to show the value of our civilization. We request details on your evaluation criteria." Varric's black eyes regarded Douglas with what might have been amusement. "Your technological advancement, resource management, military capabilities, and cultural cohesion will be assessed. Dominion observers will require unrestricted access to all your facilities and records." "That may be difficult," Douglas replied carefully. "Our world has many sovereign nations with their own laws and security concerns." "Your political fragmentation is noted," Varric said dismissively. "It is a common weakness among developing worlds. Those who survive contact with the Dominion quickly learn the value of unity." After the aliens departed for their temporary embassy, Earth's leaders remained in emergency session. "They're testing us," said the Russian president, Nikolai Petrov. "This evaluation is merely a pretext for invasion." The Chinese premier nodded in agreement. "Their technology is far beyond ours. Conventional resistance would be futile." Douglas looked around the room. "Then we need unconventional resistance. I propose an immediate global cooperation initiative. All national defense secrets, scientific research, and technological advancements must be shared. Our only chance is to present a united front." For once, no objections were raised. That night, as Dominion observers began their survey of Earth's major cities, military bases, and research facilities, a secret meeting took place in an underground bunker beneath the Rocky Mountains. The facility, known as Deep Shield, had been built with technology specifically designed to evade detection. "The Dominion ships use a form of quantum scanning," explained Dr. William Rodriguez, Earth's leading physicist. "But they have a blind spot. Their technology relies on principles that ignore certain wavelengths we discovered 5 years ago." General Maria Jenkins studied the alien ship schematics that Earth's satellites had captured. "So they can't detect this facility or the others like it." "Not if we maintain the quantum shielding," Rodriguez confirmed. "Which means we have something they don't expect. A place to plan our response without their knowledge." Jenkins' expression was grim. 60 days to save humanity. Let's make them count. They're underestimating us, Dr. William Rodriguez said, pacing the underground facility known only as Deep Shield. The room was filled with Earth's brightest minds, gathered in secret, while the official diplomatic channels engaged with the Dominion representatives. "That's our only advantage," agreed General Maria Jenkins. "Their scans haven't detected this facility or any of our quantum research sites. They think they know everything about our capabilities." Rodriguez nodded. "Their technology is advanced, but they've become dependent on it. Their arrogance blinds them. We've analyzed their communication patterns. They don't innovate anymore. They conquer and assimilate." On the main screen, satellite footage showed Dominion observers methodically touring Earth's major cities, industrial centers, and military installations. They collected samples, recorded data, and occasionally demanded demonstrations of Earth's technology. "Have they detected Project Aurora?" asked Catherine Wright, the Secretary of Defense. "No," replied Rodriguez. "The quantum shielding is working. They have no idea what we've been developing. Jenkins studied the tactical display. We have 47 days left before their evaluation concludes. Based on their previous conquest patterns, they'll likely select servitude for us. Unless we show them exactly why that would be their worst mistake, said Rodriguez as he pulled up the schematics for humanity's secret weapon. Project Aurora wasn't a traditional weapon system. It was something far more subtle and potentially more devastating. A quantum pulse generator capable of disrupting any technology based on the same principles the Dominion used. The pulse won't destroy their ships, Rodriguez explained to the assembled leaders, but it will temporarily disable their systems, like pulling the plug on a computer. We've tested it on the samples we collected from their landing sites. Will they see it coming? Asked President Douglas through the secure video link. That's the beauty of it, Rodriguez said with a small smile. They can't. The pulse travels through subspace frequencies they don't monitor because, according to their understanding of physics, those frequencies are irrelevant. The Chinese premier's face appeared on another screen. How do we know this will work on their mothership? It is many times larger than their landing vessels. We don't know for certain, Rodriguez admitted, but our simulations suggest the effect scales proportionally. The bigger the target, the more vulnerable it is to system-wide cascade failures. Jenkins pointed to another display showing the locations of 7 facilities around the world. We've positioned pulse generators on every continent. When activated simultaneously, they'll create a field that encompasses our entire solar system. And what if they retaliate? Asked the Russian president. Jenkins' expression hardened. The pulse is non-destructive. It's a demonstration, not an attack. But make no mistake, if pushed, we can modify the generators to permanently disable their technology. Douglas nodded gravely. So we show them our teeth without actually biting. Exactly, Rodriguez confirmed. The Dominion has conquered thousands of worlds because resistance was futile. We need to show them that Earth is different, that conquering us would cost more than it's worth. For the next 2 weeks, while Dominion observers continued their evaluation, teams of scientists and engineers worked around the clock, refining the pulse technology and running countless simulations. Meanwhile, Earth's leaders maintained a careful show of cooperation with their alien visitors, revealing only what had been agreed upon: outdated military bases, controlled scientific demonstrations, carefully scripted cultural exchanges. On day 33 of the evaluation, the Dominion High Command called a meeting with Earth's representatives. Your cooperation has been noted, Varric announced coldly. However, your technological advancement is insufficient for higher classification. Preliminary assessment suggests limited autonomous status with resource tribute requirements. Douglas exchanged glances with the other world leaders. The moment had arrived sooner than expected. We appreciate your assessment, Douglas replied calmly. However, before you finalize your decision, there's something we'd like to show you. Dominion evaluator Krex found humans fascinating, though he would never admit this to his superiors. He had been assigned to observe military installations and assess human warfare capabilities. The data suggested they were primitive, nuclear fission weapons, rudimentary space travel, fragmented planetary governance. Yet something didn't add up. Your species is remarkably adaptive, Krex noted to Colonel Jack Wilson as they toured a military base in what humans called Colorado. Wilson maintained the carefully crafted persona of respectful but not subservient. We do what we must to survive. Your historical records show constant conflict among yourselves. Inefficient. We learn from our mistakes, Wilson replied carefully. Krex tilted his head. A curious statement. The Dominion does not make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, Evaluator Krex. The wise learn from them. Later that evening, Krex reviewed his findings in private. Humans displayed inconsistent behavior. Their technology was basic, yet occasionally demonstrated innovative approaches that even the Dominion had not considered. Their warfare capabilities seemed limited, but their tactics showed creativity that bordered on unpredictability. Most concerning were the gaps in his scans, areas where data should exist but didn't. The humans were hiding something, and they were being far too accommodating to their evaluators. Krex sent a private message to High Commander Varric. Recommend caution. Human compliance may be strategic rather than submissive. The response came immediately. Concern noted but dismissed. Continue standard evaluation. Unsatisfied, Krex decided to investigate further. The next day, he requested an unscheduled tour of a research facility in what humans called Nevada. The humans agreed too quickly, which only heightened his suspicion. "This is our advanced propulsion laboratory," explained Dr. Helen Morgan, leading him through pristine halls filled with equipment that seemed almost stage. "Your propulsion systems rely on chemical combustion," Krex observed. "Primitive." "Yes," Morgan agreed. "We're decades away from anything more advanced." Krex activated his personal scanner, sweeping it slowly across the laboratory. The readings confirmed what he was seeing, nothing beyond basic human technology. Yet when he directed it toward a section of seemingly empty wall, the scanner briefly flickered. "What is beyond that wall?" he asked abruptly. Morgan didn't hesitate. "Storage. Would you like to see it?" The storage room contained exactly what one would expect. Spare parts, maintenance equipment, nothing unusual. But Krex's instincts, developed over centuries of evaluating potentially hostile species, told him something was wrong. That night, he bypassed standard protocols and accessed the Dominion's central archives directly. He searched for patterns across thousands of conquered worlds. Species that appeared compliant but harbored hidden resistance. Species that seemed technologically inferior but possessed unexpected capabilities. The results were disturbing. In the Dominion's 17,000-year history, 3 civilizations had successfully resisted initial conquest attempts. All 3 had appeared relatively primitive during evaluation, but had concealed advanced defensive capabilities. All 3 had eventually been subjugated through overwhelming force, but at tremendous cost to the Dominion. Krex composed a more detailed report to Varric. Human behavior patterns match resistance profile alpha. Recommend immediate reassessment and potential preemptive measures. Again, his warning was acknowledged but dismissed. "Do not deviate from standard evaluation procedures," came the response. "Your concern regarding hidden capabilities is noted but lacks substantiating evidence." Krex stared at the response, troubled. The Dominion had become complacent over millennia of easy conquests. They had forgotten the cost of underestimating a species willing to fight for its survival. He returned to his observation duties the next day, watching the humans more carefully than ever. They were planning something, he was certain of it, and the Dominion, in its arrogance, was walking directly into whatever trap they had set. "We've received their assessment," President Douglas announced to the emergency cabinet meeting. "The Dominion has classified Earth as a resource world with limited autonomous status. They'll be establishing permanent outposts and expect regular tributes of materials and labor." "That's actually better than we expected," said Foster. "They're not planning immediate conquest." "Because they don't see us as a threat," Douglas replied, "or worth the resources of a full occupation. Yet." The secure line to Deep Shield activated, and Rodriguez's face appeared on screen. "Mr. President, Aurora is ready. We verified its effectiveness against their shield technology using the data collected during their landings." Douglas looked around the room at the representatives of Earth's nations, all united for perhaps the first time in human history. "Are we in agreement?" The vote was unanimous. "Initiate Operation Unexpected," Douglas ordered, "and may God help us all." 12 hours later, as the Dominion's High Commander Varric prepared to deliver the formal terms of Earth's new status in the Empire, a single message was transmitted directly to the mothership, bypassing all the communication protocols the aliens had established. The message was simple: observe. In the United Nations Assembly Hall, Earth's leaders had gathered for what the Dominion believed would be their formal acceptance of vassal status. Varric stood tall at the podium, his black eyes surveying the humans with the casual disregard of a farmer assessing livestock. "Your evaluation has concluded," Varric announced. "The Dominion acknowledges Earth's limited value and grants limited autonomous status. You will maintain local governance under Dominion oversight. Resource extraction will begin immediately." President Douglas rose from his seat. "Before we respond to your generous offer, High Commander, we would like to present a demonstration of Earth's capabilities." Varric's expression showed mild curiosity. "Your capabilities have been thoroughly assessed. Further demonstrations are unnecessary." "Indulge us," Douglas insisted politely. "It will only take a moment." Varric gestured impatiently. "Proceed." Douglas nodded to his aide, who activated a secure communication device. "Dr. Rodriguez, you may begin." At Deep Shield, Rodriguez and his team initiated the sequence they had prepared for weeks. 7 quantum pulse generators around the world powered up simultaneously, drawing energy from Earth's magnetic field. Synchronizing quantum field in 3, 2, 1. Rodriguez counted down. Pulse activated. The effect was instant and dramatic. Throughout the assembly hall, every piece of Dominion technology went dark. Varric's translator, the hovering recording devices, the personal shields of the alien delegation, all deactivated simultaneously. For 7 precise seconds, the Dominion representatives stood frozen in shock, completely cut off from their technology and their mothership. Then, as planned, the pulse ended and their devices reactivated. The look on Varric's face shifted from confusion to the first genuine emotion any human had seen from the aliens: alarm. "What have you done?" he demanded. Douglas maintained perfect composure. "A simple demonstration. High Commander, the same effect is currently being experienced by your mothership and all your vessels within our solar system." Varric's hand moved to his communication device. "Mothership, report status." The reply came through clearly enough for all to hear. "High Commander, we experienced a complete systems failure lasting 7 Earth seconds. All systems temporarily disabled. No permanent damage detected, but our defenses were completely neutralized during the event." Douglas stepped forward. "High Commander Varric, Earth respectfully declines your offer of limited autonomous status. We propose instead a mutual non-interference agreement." Varric stared at Douglas, his alien features unreadable. This technology was not detected in our scans. "No," Douglas agreed. "It wasn't." Varric turned to his delegation. A rapid exchange in their native language followed, their normally measured tones now urgent and sharp. Finally, Varric faced Earth's leaders again. "The Dominion must reassess Earth's status. We will withdraw to our vessel while we consult with the Imperial Council." As the aliens filed out, Foster leaned close to Douglas. "Do you think it worked?" Douglas watched the retreating forms of the Dominion delegation. It got their attention. Now we wait to see if they're wise enough to back down. At precisely 300 UTC, synchronized quantum pulse generators activated at 7 locations around the globe. The pulse wasn't designed to destroy, merely to demonstrate. Across the planet, every piece of Dominion technology simultaneously deactivated for exactly 7 seconds before restarting. On the mothership, life support systems briefly faltered. The 5 landing vessels lost power completely for those 7 seconds. Before the aliens could react, a second message was transmitted, this one in the Dominion's own language, using syntax reserved for their highest Imperial commands. "The demonstration you witnessed affected only your observation equipment and non-essential systems. Our full capability would permanently disable all Dominion technology within the solar system. We have studied you while you studied us. We know your weaknesses as intimately as you believe you know ours." In the United Nations Assembly Hall, Varric's communicator activated with a direct transmission from the Dominion Emperor himself, something unprecedented in first contact scenarios. President Douglas addressed the visibly shaken High Commander. "We have no interest in conquest. We don't seek to join your empire or challenge it. Earth desires only to be left alone." This demonstration was our one and only warning. The silence that followed was absolute. Varric stood motionless, his black eyes fixed on Douglas as if seeing him for the first time. "You understand," Varric finally said, "that the Dominion has never retreated from a world marked for integration. And you understand," Douglas replied evenly, "that Earth has never surrendered to an outside power. We are prepared to disable every piece of Dominion technology in this system permanently if necessary." At Deep Shield, Rodriguez and his team monitored the conversation through secure channels. The data from the pulse test exceeded their expectations. The Dominion ships had been completely vulnerable, their supposedly impenetrable shields useless against Earth's quantum disruption technology. "They're scanning again," reported Susan Bennett, more intensely this time, "trying to locate our pulse generators." "Let them look," Jenkins said confidently. "The quantum shielding will hold." On the main screen, they watched as Varric received continuous updates from the mothership. His composure had cracked, revealing genuine concern. "Your demonstration is noted," Varric finally said. "I must consult with the Imperial Council." "Of course," Douglas agreed. "We'll await their response." As the Dominion delegation departed, tension filled the chamber. The gamble had been played. Now everything depended on the aliens' reaction. Hours passed with no communication from the mothership. Earth's military forces remained on high alert, ready to activate the pulse generators at full power if the aliens attempted hostile action. Finally, a transmission came through to the United Nations Assembly. "The Imperial Council demands to know how you acquired this technology." Varric's voice boomed through the speakers. "It should be beyond your capabilities." Douglas exchanged glances with the other world leaders before responding. "We developed it ourselves, High Commander. Humanity has always been innovative when faced with threats to our survival." "Impossible," Varric insisted. "Your technological level is centuries behind the necessary theoretical framework." "Perhaps your assessment of our capabilities was incomplete," Douglas suggested mildly. Another pause followed. "The Dominion requires proof that your technology can indeed permanently disable our systems, not merely temporarily interrupt them," Varric finally said. Rodriguez's voice came through Douglas's secure earpiece. "They're testing us, Mr. President. They want to see if we're bluffing." Douglas straightened in his chair. "We will not provide such a demonstration, High Commander. Doing so would require us to permanently destroy Dominion property, which would be an act of aggression. Our intention is defense, not warfare." "Then we cannot verify your claims," Varric countered. "That is a risk you must evaluate," Douglas replied, "just as we evaluated the risk of revealing our capabilities to you. The choice now lies with the Dominion: respect Earth's sovereignty, or discover firsthand the full extent of our defensive measures." The transmission ended abruptly. In Deep Shield, Rodriguez turned to Jenkins. "Do you think they'll back down?" Jenkins studied the tactical display showing the Dominion mothership's position. In 17,000 years of conquest, they've never encountered a species that could neutralize their technology. They don't know how to respond. "Let's hope they choose wisely," Rodriguez said quietly. For all our sakes, 3 days of tense silence followed. The Dominion mothership remained in orbit, but all landing craft returned to it. Global military forces remained on high alert, while Project Aurora stood ready to deploy its full capabilities if necessary. Finally, a transmission arrived, directed specifically to President Douglas and the United Earth Defense Council. The Dominion Emperor's holographic form appeared before them. Unlike the other aliens, the Emperor appeared ancient, with eyes that conveyed something humans recognized all too well: caution. In 17,000 years of expansion, the Dominion has encountered 3 civilizations that surprised us. None were at your technological level. Your species has concealed capabilities beyond our initial assessment." The Emperor paused, studying the humans before him. "You could have attempted to destroy our forces. Instead, you issued a warning. This suggests wisdom, as well as strength. The Dominion recognizes Earth as a sovereign exception. We will withdraw from your system and classify it as restricted territory. As promised, within 24 hours, the massive alien ship departed, leaving behind only a small communications satellite at the edge of the solar system. They'll be back someday, Dr. Powell said, watching the ship's departure from Sentinel-1. Maybe not for conquest, but they'll be watching us. Admiral Harris nodded. And we'll be ready. Humanity has put empires on notice. We will not be conquered. What do you think impressed them more? Powell asked. Our technology or our restraint? Neither, Harris replied. I think what truly terrified them was encountering something they hadn't seen in thousands of years, the unexpected. In the Oval Office, President Douglas sat with his core team, reviewing the final reports as the Dominion ship vanished from Earth's sensors. We got lucky, said Secretary Wright. If they had called our bluff and attacked anyway. It wasn't luck, Douglas corrected her. It was understanding their psychology. The Dominion conquered through overwhelming technological superiority. When we demonstrated that advantage could be neutralized, conquest became too costly. Vice President Foster nodded. And they respected that we showed restraint. We could have permanently disabled their landing craft, but we chose a demonstration instead. For a species that prides itself on logical calculation, the risk became unacceptable, Douglas agreed. Still, we need to prepare. They may have withdrawn, but they now know Earth has technology worth studying. At Deep Shield, the work continued without pause. Rodriguez and his team analyzed the data collected during the brief confrontation, refining their understanding of Dominion technology. We should dismantle the pulse generators now that the crisis is over, one of the scientists suggested. No, Jenkins replied firmly. We improve them. The next visitors might not be so easily deterred. Rodriguez looked at the star chart displaying known Dominion territories. They'll respect our borders for now, but they'll be watching, learning, adapting. That's the nature of empires, and we'll be doing the same, Jenkins said. The quantum technology that saved us today is just the beginning. Now that we know what's out there, we can prepare properly. 1 week later, the United Nations ratified the formation of Earth's first truly global defensive alliance. National boundaries remained, but the planet's military and scientific resources would be coordinated through a single command structure. In his address to the world, President Douglas spoke of the lessons learned from humanity's first contact with an interstellar empire. For centuries, we looked to the stars and wondered if we were alone. Now we know we are not, and we know that the galaxy can be a dangerous place. But we also know something else, that Earth will not bow to empires, that humanity's greatest strength is not our weapons or our technology, but our determination to remain free. As the speech concluded, Admiral Harris stood on Sentinel-1 and gazed out at the stars. The Dominion ship was long gone, but its message lingered. Earth was not alone, and the universe was filled with powers beyond imagination. Yet for the first time in human history, the people of Earth had united against an external threat and prevailed not through superior force, but through intelligence, preparation, and the courage to stand firm. The Galactic Empire had set its sights on Earth, and humanity had given its sole warning. Next time, if there was a next time, it would not be a warning. It would be a promise.